probably know one of the most amazing pictures to come out in the past few years is E.T., and this young lady has earned a great deal of attention for her appearance in it. And she is just 7 years old. Would you welcome, please, Drew Barrymore.
Looking at her now, you wouldn't think that Drew Barrymore went through much suffering. The fun, bubbly, and optimistic American actress is known for her popular roles in Charlie's Angels, 50 First Dates, and Scream. Most of us grew up with Drew Barrymore on our screens, and most don't know about the traumatic experiences that she suffered during her childhood. Born on February 22, 1975, Drew was one of the 4 children of Jade and John Barrymore. Drew was part of the family's 4th generation of actors. Even her godparents are screen legends. Actresses Sophia Loren, Anne Strasberg, and the iconic director, Steven Spielberg. At 11 months old, Drew landed her first role in a pet food commercial. She managed to get the role simply because she laughed when the staring dog nipped at her during her audition. At 5 years old, Drew landed a role in the Ken Russell sci-fi horror Altered States, but she became famous when she starred in Steven Spielberg's E.T., which is the 4th most successful film of all time. After this film, she started being called the modern-day Shirley Temple, with her confidence, star quality, and just for being adorable. Behind her cute, dimpled smile was a truth that is heavy to carry. In her 1990 biography, Little Girl Lost, she said that her father was alcoholic, violent, and physically abusive. She recalls that her earliest memory of him was when she was 3 years old, when he stomped into the kitchen, threw Drew's mother to the ground, then threw her against a wall, and grabbed a bottle of tequila and left. At an early age, Drew became exposed to drugs and alcohol. At the age of 8, she dubbed herself a party girl, constantly going out with her mother and her mother's friends. After her parents divorced, her mother took her to Studio 54, where she had her first encounter with drugs. She was also encouraged to dance with famous young men. Drew confessed that as she approached adolescence, drugs were what took her pain away. At 12 years old, Drew was sent to rehab. When she relapsed at 13, she was sent to a mental health facility where they treated her for alcohol and drug addiction. During her time there, Drew got the chance to get her life together. The institution suggested for her to legally separate from her parents and be declared an adult at 14. This presented a new challenge for Drew. At 14, she had to work low-wage jobs until she landed another acting gig. Casting directors at the time would laugh at her when she would show up at auditions, making things harder for young Drew. She landed her next acting role at 17 in the film Poison Ivy. She went to star in films like Batman Forever and Scream. Despite these harsh experiences at such a young age, Drew said that she hasn't regretted anything. She said, "It was a very important thing to experience for me. It was very humbling, very quieting. Maybe it was necessary because I came out of there as a more respecting person. And my parents didn't teach me that. And life wasn't teaching me that. I came out in a very different way, but I was still me." Drew's dating life also made headlines. She was first engaged to Leland Hayward when she was 16, then to Jamie Walters at 17. Both engagements ended within months. Then, she married Jeremy Thomas in 1994, but filed for divorce in less than 2 months. Her next relationship would be with Fabrizio Moretti, which lasted for 5 years. After that, she married Will Koppelman in 2012 and had her first daughter, Olive. Then it was what followed 2 years later by Frankie. She considered her divorce from Will as her, quote-unquote, biggest failure. Other than her love life, her 20s was a liberating era. She worked hard, enjoyed her successes, and had belated adolescence. In 2009, she directed her first full-length film, Whip It. It wasn't a box office success, but critic Roger Ebert wrote, "While it may not reflect the kind of female empowerment Gloria Steinem had in mind, it has guts, charm, and black and blue sweetness." Drew is also one of the first women in Hollywood to start her own production company, Flower Productions. She has also launched another company called Flower Beauty, a cosmetics company. Overall, Drew Barrymore seems to be in a much better place. She reconnected with her father during his later years and paid his medical bills until he died from cancer in 2004. Not much detail is shared about her mother. After her father died, they barely spoke. But in the final lines of the acknowledgments in her book Wildflower, she wrote, "And to my mother, Ildiko Jade Barrymore, thank you. I am ever so pleased to be on this planet. And to my father John Drew Barrymore, see you again someday." In an interview with The Guardian, Drew talked more about these lines. "I really didn't know how to feel about my mom for so many years, and it's painful to have conflicting feelings about the woman who gave birth to you. But it's like I've finally passed through something which has made me okay with everything, even if I don't understand it all the time and might never resolve it." Drew's sunny outlook on life is astounding given her past and all the things she went through. She now lives her life to encourage others to live life fully, a true inspiration to all of us. As for us at the Independent Collective, we are happy to hear that she's been doing better. In her book Wildflower, she wrote, "I am fundamentally happy. Everyone has experiences that make them cynical, jaded, or unhappy. You just have to fight those things off. I have totally emotional days when I cry and get insecure, PMS, weirded out, doomed, and tragic. I mean, I'm definitely just not a lollipop, happy in the wind girl. I'm human just like everyone else. But I think that it would be tragic to be on your deathbed and think, I could've, I should've. That gets me out of bed every day. I can't even last like an hour in bed in the morning. I have to get out there and live." Thanks for watching. This is Leah Shalko for The Independent Collective.